You're watching Let the Quran Speak. Now we answer questions we've received from you, our viewers, and if you have a question yourself, you can visit our website, www.quranspeaks.com. Okay, Brother Shabir, the first question, why are Muslim men allowed to marry non-Muslim women, but Muslim women aren't allowed to marry non-Muslim men?
Well, this is how the law has been framed in classical times, and naturally it looks a little bit uneven. Mm-hmm. And as we strive for evenness and balance in our modern world, and we recognize these these incongruities, mm-hmm. we need to enact rules that will level the balance. One rule that has come out from very old times, in fact, in this regard, is the prohibition that Omar, the second caliph, enacted against men marrying women outside of the faith. So in that case, he's made it somewhat balanced. As a result of his ruling, some of the Muslim scholars think it is makruh. They wouldn't say it is haram or impermissible, because that to them is a strong word, and they need a stronger proof that it would be impermissible to use that term, mm-hmm. than just simply the pronouncement of Omar, one of the early Muslim caliphs. But nevertheless, they think it is makruh. So they think that both women should marry within the faith, and men should also marry from within the faith. So that's one way of achieving the balance. Mm-hmm. To think about how the imbalance came about to begin with, we have to understand how ancient societies functioned. Usually, the tribal societies were divided against each other. They went to war, and we know all of the negative outcomes that one can expect from war. If a woman married, she often left her own tribe and she went to live within the people of another tribe. And so if the tribes went to war, imagine that the girl will be on another side, and that will be behind enemy lines. Mm-hmm. So this was thought to be unimaginable for communities to let their daughters be married off into a foreign tribe, and she might be in that case without protections. If she is ill-treated or abused, then she will not be surrounded with her own family members, by her extended family, who can be there to protect her and help her in a difficult situation. But at the same time, each tribe would think that they can take a girl from the other tribe and take care of her. Mm-hmm. All right, so it doesn't work both ways. From the Muslim point of view, naturally, when the polity is being formulated, it is thought that if a man marries a girl from another tribe, this is fine, because we bring her into our group and we take care of her. Mm-hmm. But we wouldn't allow our daughters to be married off into another outside of the Muslim faith, because then we don't know if the non-Muslims will treat her well, and we won't be there to protect her and look after her. So this was the thinking, naturally, that governed this kind of ruling.
Mm-hmm. So now, how can we understand the ruling now, given that that circumstance no longer applies as much as it did before?
Of course, where the protections of women are given and guaranteed, then one would see less of a reason for that way of thinking. But even to this day, that sort of protection is not 100% guaranteed. I mean, there can be state laws, for example, that protect women, and yet women can be vulnerable in certain individual situations. So who knows what goes on in the bedroom or within the closed walls of a person's residence. Mm-hmm. So naturally, there is still some need for a degree of protectionism and a degree of care. But one does not go too far with that, because one can become protective to the extent of limiting the freedom and liberty of an individual. So one has to strike a balance. The proper balance seems to be to say that neither men nor women should marry outside of the faith. Okay. In that case, there is a religious reason for justifying the marrying within the faith, apart from the question of the safety of the individuals. Because when we marry within the faith, we are preserving a faith within the household. If the faiths are mixed, then this becomes a confusing situation, especially for younger children who are growing up within the family, and they do not know which faith to take seriously, or if any at all.
I guess this particularly applies in a country that's not Islamic, or the culture is not Islamic around.
Yes, and one might say that there is a benefit to having an openness within a family. You have two faiths, mom of one faith, dad of another faith, and a child may even choose a third faith or none at all. And many see this as a good thing, that it is open and people keep open minds about things without believing any one thing in particular. But the downside of that is that one may not believe any one thing in particular, and one may be left without the benefit of the guiding principles that are found in religion. One ends up not taking any religion seriously and not taking the moral principles of religion seriously. And there comes a time in life when parents wish that their children had taken a set of moral principles seriously and committed themselves to living by them, regardless of which moral principles they were. So I would rather see a family being strictly Islamic and the other family being strictly Christian than to see both families mixed between Muslim and Christian, for example.
All right, we'll leave it at that. This is a question about your view on the Jamaat Tablighi. What is it? Maybe you can explain what it is.
That requires some explanation. The Jamaat Tabligh is a group that is fairly ad hoc and loose in terms of government or in terms of organization, but it's fueled by a certain idea that Muslims should be reforming themselves. And that will be a preparatory stage for presenting the message of Islam to the wider world. They recognize that Muslims are failing on some of the very basic teachings and principles of the Islamic faith, and they think that the way of overcoming this and of reforming themselves would be for men in particular, but also women, to gather in groups, to go out, as they say, in the path of God, spend some time in the mosque environment where they will be reclusive from the world for some limited duration, after which time they'll go back into the world with a renewed emphasis on faith and with the practice of Islam.
Mm-hmm. How popular is this movement?
This is worldwide. It is especially popular in India, where it was born through the teachings of a certain Maulana Muhammad Ilyas. May God have mercy on him. And it has spread now throughout the world. We can find movements in Canada as well, or groups moving within this broader idea, even in Canada as well.
All right. Thank you for your time, Brother Shabir.
You're welcome.
And we'd like to hear from you. Please visit our website, www.quranspeaks.com. Send us your comments, your suggestions, and of course, your donations. I'm Safiya Ali for all of us here at Let the Quran Speak. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.